the weeks prior and go about our business. But when he plays, he definitely affects what you do and how you want to do it. And he definitely will affect on some of the things that our coaches have planned for already.
For more on this matchup, let's check in with Randy Moss in Charlotte.
Falcons interim head coach Raheem Morris says the confidence of his 1-6 team has not been damaged by their series of wildly improbable defeats. Morris said there are no psychological issues here, no excuses. And Todd Gurley, who accidentally scored the touchdown last week that helped fuel their loss to the Lions, said the Falcons need to keep a positive mindset. Gurley said once a team in any sport tells themselves, oh, here we go again, you're already beat mentally. For the Panthers, head coach Matt Rule said that Christian McCaffrey looked good on Tuesday in his return to practice, but that doctors, trainers, and McCaffrey himself will decide whether or not he plays on Thursday night on what might be a wet and slippery field here in Charlotte. McCaffrey hasn't played since suffering a high ankle sprain 6 weeks ago. NFL Network has reported that McCaffrey's participation tomorrow night is a long shot, but Rule says he is hopeful.
All right, bringing in DeAngelo Hall. Let's get into this one, my friend. Look at that. Woo, action shots. DeAngelo Hall. The Falcons have had a lot of trouble closing out games, but they cannot do that against the Panthers this week.
No, they can't do it against the Panthers, MJ. You talk about the way the Falcons lost that game last week, and then, you know, you take a look at the Carolina Panthers, and they go toe-to-toe with New Orleans, the team who's supposed to be the front runners in that division. And they had a chance at the very end to win that game. And so, to me, it's all about Teddy Bridgewater. They've given this dude some weapons. And, you know, when I look at this Panthers team, they were supposed to be the doormat of the NFC South. And they have a whole lot of fight in them. And so the Falcons can't let Teddy Bridgewater continue to hit these weapons. You see Robbie Anderson there. DJ Moore is showing the kind of playmaker he can be. And if Christian McCaffrey is in this game or not, I know they didn't run the ball particularly well last week against the Saints, but Mike Davis is a very capable running back, and he's been putting up numbers for that Panthers offense.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What's your pick? Who wins this one, D-Hall?
Oh, I know my people in Atlanta going to hate me, but I'm going with Carolina in this one, MJ.
Woo,
31-24.
I don't blame you. I hear you. The rest of our picks still to come later on NFL Total Access. But for more on the NFC South, here's PFF's George Chahuri with the Saints-Bears preview.
How can a 5-win team at home be an underdog? The Bears will have to figure out a way to legitimize their win total by showing up with some offense when they play host to Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, and the Saints. On Monday night against the Rams, the Bears offense scored fewer points than their defense. In fact, they scored only 3 points. Super Bowl champion and journeyman Nick Foles has come off far more the latter since taking over for Mitch Trubisky. His PFF passing grade of just 62 ranks 28th among quarterbacks. In fact, the Bears' passing offense is one of only 7 in the NFL that decreases their chances of scoring on average each time they drop back to pass. For those of you counting at home, that is no bueno. None of those teams have more than 2 wins, and 3 of them reside in the NFC East. To say the Bears' 5 wins feel a little fraudulent would be an understatement, which means the Bears' defense is going to need to remain a top unit. They rank 6th in limiting passing efficiency this season, and now they get Drew Brees right when he appears to be hitting his stride. After a very rough start in weeks 1 through 3, Brees has the #1 PFF passing grade over his last 3 games. That's right, the formerly washed Drew Brees, he has risen. And that is with an ever-changing group of receivers. The one constant for Brees is the league's best running back, Alvin Kamara. Kamara leads the entire league with 428 yards after the catch and holds the single highest PFF receiving grade among all players regardless of position. That's not bad for a running back. The Saints come in as PFF's 7th-ranked team, while the Bears are treading water at number 16. Should we write off another Nick Foles?
Wilson sliding left, throwing, and that will be caught for a touchdown. Oh, boy, by Lockett. Let's keep on him, baby. All day. Let's go. Come on.
Red zone chance. Looking for Gronk, and he's got it for a touchdown.
That's a record. Is it? 43? Oh, yeah.
That's a record 43. Wentz throws, passes, caught. Touchdown, Boston Scott. job, fellas. Great job. Great job. Great job.
That's a great game, bro. Great game. Good job.
Kurt Warner back with us now, and I need to know who you're looking at in terms of QBs to watch for Week 8, Kurt.
Well, MJ, we always know there's lots of different storylines around the quarterbacks week in and week out. So, my list of quarterbacks to watch come from a little different angle. And number 3 on my list is going to be Baker Mayfield. That on the teams that I've been on throughout my career, or seasons that I've had throughout my career, I could go back to every one of them and point to a game or a moment in a game where things kind of turned for us. Well, we saw what Baker Mayfield did in the second half last week, the way he brought his team back time and time again, the big throws that he made at critical moments in the game. I want to see if this is that moment for the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield where things start to shift. They turn things around and they get rolling from this point moving forward. Number 2 on my list is Cam Newton. Now, another scenario that I went through a number of times in my career is I was benched a number of times in my career. You have one of those bad performances, you get put on the bench, you get humbled a little bit, and then how do you respond to that moment when you have to step back in the huddle with all eyes on you, media looking at you and saying, okay, you haven't played up to par. What are you going to do now after being benched? So Cam Newton going up against that Bills team that is leading the division. How does he bounce back? What does he look like this week? Knowing Cam as the competitor that he is, I expect him to play very, very well. And then number 1 on my list is Lamar Jackson. He has played very, very well for the last year and a half, but he's had a few stumbles along the way. Struggles against the Chiefs. Another one of the struggles was the first game that he started, or the only game that he started, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got my eye on him. When things are on schedule, Lamar Jackson has been awesome. But Pittsburgh is one of those teams that gets pressure on you, gives you different looks, and forces you to hold the football and get off schedule. So how does Lamar Jackson match up this time against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense that's making everybody hold the football and have to think about things a little bit longer?
Kurt, the Ravens on the bye last week, I was like, it feels like we haven't talked about Lamar Jackson in a hot minute, but maybe that week of rest definitely will do him good up against a stymied Steelers team this week. Big rivalry as well, too. Kurt and the entire Game Day morning crew will be ready for you Sunday, 9 Eastern on NFL Network. And before we get to Kurt and the guys on Sunday, tomorrow we have Thursday night football action. Matt Ryan leads the Falcons into Carolina.